What's going on, guys? Valken here. Welcome to another episode of Budget Builder. In this series, I want to show you how to build budget decks that starters can use in order to gain soul shards versus the expert AI. Now, these decks I'm going to try to focus on building with the general cards or the common cards you get when you first start the game. You may have to craft one or two if you want to get the full 3 set for each card, but it's absolutely not necessary. And with this deck I'm going to show you, I call it the Soul Harvester because
your soul is mine.
Essentially, it's designed to be an easy mechanic for new people to learn. The whole theory behind it is you use your guard creatures to protect you while you deal face damage or clear boards. By clear boards, I mean either using such as the fireball to clear the board if they're already 1 damage down or they only have 1 life left. And also you can use your charge minions, or creatures, sorry, stuck in Hearthstone mode, charge creatures in order to ping the other opponents. What I like to do is hopefully get on the first turn or two, I'll get a Nord Firebrand, drop him out for a 0, then I'll throw a Steel Scimitar on him, and I'm already pinging him for 3. And now, in the beginning of the game, it may not be that big of a deal, but towards the end, when you need to, let's say you have 5 health left, and your opponent has 3. If they have no defenses besides 1 or 2 creatures, and you get lucky and you have a 0 cost charge with, a +2/+2, and there you go, you can ping them and done. Or if you get lucky, or if you need to, you can use the Fiery Imp, pump that up with like a Steel Scimitar +2/+2. Now you're looking at doing 5 damage just from a 1-drop, or I should say from a total of a 2-drop, because with the Fiery Imp you do 1 damage and then it does 2 damage to the opponent after you attack. So if you beef that up so you still get some longevity out of it, you're good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through a couple of the cards here. And I'll include the deck list below in the description. But for now, we'll just go through this. So we have Improvised Weapon, give us an item. 3 of these, Nord Firebrands, in order to get some charge on the field. Fiery Imp, like I explained earlier, you get 3 damage out of a 1-drop. Scouting Patrol, this is just so we can establish some lane presence. The 1/1 Imperials aren't that great, but if you combine them with, let's see, Divine Fervor, then they become 2/2s. So it can add up, obviously. Next we have the Sharpshooter Scout. I like this card because if it's a prophecy, once one of your runes breaks, you can immediately do 1 damage, and that may slow your opponent down from attacking you. Let's say you're 2 life away and they have a 2/1 on the field, and they break a rune before that 2 to get you down to 2. You get lucky and get Sharpshooter Scout, deal 1 damage to that 1 minion left or creature, and you're good to go. You're safe. Next up, we have the Steel Scimitar, like I explained earlier, just a 1-drop, 2/2. The Sunhold Medic. I like this card because it's a 1-drop, and it also gives you a +0/+2. Some people, may not like it, but for the low cost, what you get out of it, it may allow you to maintain lane presence and kind of draw your opponent away from hitting the face and focus on creatures in their lane. The Bone Bow, I like this one too because although it is only a +1, I can silence another creature. So let's say I want to get past and kill another minion, but there's a guard creature in the way. I can get lucky, use the Bone Bow, get a +1 to increase my attack, and also silence that guard so I can get access to the other creatures. Next, we have the Bruma Profiteer. So you basically just gain 1 health every time you summon a creature. And it's also a good distraction card. I like to throw it out because sometimes the AI will go for this card rather than face. So it could save you in a situation like that. Okay, Greystone Ravager, just a good prophecy card to have just in case. Kvatch Soldier, 3 of these if you can. If you only have 2, that's fine. But I like them because, they're 2-drop, 2/3 guards. So you can deal with other small threats that only have 2 attack. So they're going to have to waste some type of buff in order to get past your guard. Legion Shield, pretty self-explanatory, gives a creature guard +1/+3. Orc Clan Captain. Other friendly creatures in this lane have +1/+0. This, I like this one because you drop this down when you already have a couple charge creatures out, and all of a sudden their attack is just doubled. Not all of them, of course. Plunder, it's just good to have if you have the spare magicka to throw out and get some extra items in order to buff up those creatures. Rehad Horseman, +3/+0 and breakthrough while equipped with an item. So if you can, so the synergy in this deck is great because although it's not mainly focused on items, if you can get items equipped with some of these creatures, then they become, you know, a 5/2 for 2 and plus whatever the item gives them. So you throw, you know, your Legion Shield on Rehad Horseman, and all of a sudden you have, you know, a huge creature, huge threat on the field for 4-drop. And that obviously is going to warrant some type of reaction from your opponent. Next up, Battle Rage Orc. It's pretty self-explanatory. A good charge card to have if you have no other cards. Okay, so Cast Out. This has saved me a couple times because I'll be on my last rune and somebody will break the rune because they're trying to, you know, go lethal. And then I'll get Prophecy, unsummon a creature using Cast Out, and get rid of that last threat. And that may leave me open to finish off the game the next round. Mighty Ally, summon +3/+0 and breakthrough if the top of your card, if the top deck of your card is an endurance card. I believe that's called endurance, right? Strength, sorry. Derp. And another Rehad Battle Mage. This one is okay if you can get items on it. I like it just because it's a quick 3/3 to throw out there. But if you get lucky and add an item to it, I may remove this card later on. You can definitely replace it with something else, just simply because if you don't have an item ready to throw on it, it's just a regular 3/3, and it's kind of it may become a waste. So I may remove that later on. Next up, the Skyhaven Pyromancer. I like this because it can provide some type of board clearing ability, assuming you do some damage to the current minions on the field and they're all at 1, and you drop this guy and deals 1 damage to all creatures in this lane. It does affect your own creatures. I do want to point that out to new players. Unless it says enemy creatures, it's always going to affect all creatures. The card texts are usually really specific, so pay attention to those. Next up is Fireball. It's pretty self-explanatory. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. That's great because you combine 2 of these, and what do you know? You just clear it out the board. Rampaging Minotaur. Another charge card with breakthrough. So you get this breakthrough. Breakthrough, if you don't know what breakthrough is, it's kind of like trample, I believe, in Magic the Gathering, where let's say you're going up against a 1/1 and you hit it with a 3, then the remainder of the damage goes to the opponent. So it goes towards their life points. And this just like the other card I was talking about, this one has saved me plenty of times. I'll get this and I'll have low health left, and you know his board is stacked with some guards. I get this guy, buff him up just a little bit, and what do you know? I have enough to finish the game. It's kind of one of those cards I like to keep in there. I may throw more in there just because, but it is a 4-drop though, so keep that in mind. Slaughterfish, just kind of a fun card to have, especially if you can keep it on the field for a while, because as you see, it does gain +2 at the start of your turn. So if you buff that up and then it stays out there for a couple turns, then you have a really big threat. I don't like that it's a 4-drop. I will say that. If you want to replace it with something else, I definitely suggest, you know, looking at your options if you want to craft something. But we're trying to avoid crafting with this deck. I did craft, I think, 1 or 2 things. I can't remember exactly which ones they were. But, you know, if you need help, please just let me know. Questions in the comment section, or I'll probably post this on Reddit too, so look for that. Here, this card you get at the end of, I want to say you get this card at the end of the chapter series, or the storyline, I believe after chapter 14. If not, you can definitely find a card to replace it. I do like it because it's Prophecy, so someone breaks your rune, you get, you know, all of a sudden you have a 5/4 breakthrough guard on the field. Which is a legendary. It's great. Okay, next, Divine Fervor, like I explained earlier, gives all friendly creatures +1/+1, and it's continuous card. So unless someone uses a card to destroy a support card, It's going to be on the game. It's going to be on the field the entire game. After you summon it, of course. Grantwood Ambusher. Another one of those kind of like AoE damage cards. It's prophecy, so the way the prophecy system works is just awesome because you know you want to avoid sometimes breaking other people's runes because they may have something like this. Let's say you're lining up your attack, you have four minions on the field or 4 creatures on the field, and they all are 1/1s, and you're going for that final, you know, that or they're 2/1s or something, and you're going for the final kill, and he pops something out like this after you break his rune, and what do you know? Your board just got cleared, and he's safe. That's why I like it too, because it can get you out of some tough spots. Next up, we have the Loyal Housecarl. Another good prophecy card. Has come in handy quite a bit. It is kind of a high cost for what it does, but I do like it just for the prophecy aspect. And also, if you have it and you need something to kind of save face, put a guard minion on the field, throw that out, give another creature guard. Next up, Piercing Javelin. I do have 3 of these. You might be able to get rid of one of them. I keep it in there because of the prophecy feature. And if you happen to have 5 Magicka laying around on one of your turns and there's a threat you really want to get rid of, this can be your saving grace also. So Golden Saint, definitely one of the favorite things about this deck, simply because of its feature. So when you summon, if you have more health than your opponent, summon a copy of Golden Saint in the other lane. And now I have 2 of these in the deck. And I like this feature because assuming you're a little bit ahead, or if you can get your opponent down a little bit below you, then this card can be your saving grace. Because it'll automatically draw focus. A, because it's guard, and the AI doesn't like these kind of threats. Here's an example of when it's actually helped me. So I had, let's see, I had 14 health left. My opponent had 14 also, right? And he had 2 creatures on the field. Both did 2 damage. So he went face, of course, because I only had 2 creatures on the field. Probably, I think they were 2/1s. Or no, 3/1 and a 2/1. And he went face, so I went down. And I was obviously below. So before I played this card on my next turn, I hit face, crossing my fingers, no prophecies would pop out for him. Got lucky. And then all of a sudden, you know, I have 2 Golden Saints on the field, protected up, give me a baseline to help me re-pivot that match into a win. And that's how a couple of my wins have gone. It does suck kind of wait until you get to that point in the game to use a Golden Saint. But obviously, if you have 6, you know, if you have 6 Magicka and you have Golden Saint in hand and you have more health, or you can get more health in that turn, I do suggest using it because that can kind of, it will not only level out the playing field, but it will kind of tip it in your advantage. And it's just a great card overall. And then next is kind of a last card I threw in there just for the guard aspect. This card, it's a 6-drop, 4/7 guard. So, especially when you're playing the AI, it does warrant a response from them, simply because they go for big threats. And if they see this on the field, they'll probably hit that before they try to go for anything else. So, I have used it before and buffed it up to like a 6/9 and gave it, I may have given it breakthrough somehow, but it won the game for me one time. I will say that, which is fine. But it may need to be replaced later on. But overall, the Soul Harvester deck is great. Okay, so let's give it a few practice games against the Expert AI, just so we can kind of test it out. And I can show you how most of it works. Okay, so with this deck, obviously, okay, so Golden Saint, I'm going to keep the Golden Saint, but I'm going to get rid of Cast Out simply because it's a prophecy card. And I'm sure this early on, I'm not going to want to unsummon a creature. So let's get rid of that. We'll keep the Broomer Profiteer just because we'll gain health when we summon something, and he has to focus on removing it because eventually it can become overpowered with all the healing abilities it gets. So let's keep it. So let's keep those. Okay. So not really that good of a start. I'm going to use the Ring of Magicka. Go ahead and put Broom out. Just maybe we'll get lucky and get a charge card next. Okay, still Scimitar. Still pretty good. I'm gonna buff him up. And I'm gonna go face and see what happens. Okay, no prophecy, we're good. Wow. Okay, so let's see here. 6-4 breakthrough. 2-2 breakthrough. Right, let's put some defense out there. Gain some health back. Now, I could trade with this, but he's going to either have to buff this up to kill this using something else, or some type of removal, or he's going to have to use this to focus on it. So let's go face and see and save Bruma for next turn. I could. I really want to save the Magicka for Golden Sane around turn 5. But let's, because even if I do, let's see, they get +1. That'd be a 6-4. So it's going to be able to kill whatever he puts out, whatever he attacks with. Okay, we're just going to keep it. Of course. Yep. Let's see if he kills it. Nope. Going face, huh? Let's see. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's get rid of... Oh, let's see what these guys do. Get +1/+1, or +1/+0. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. Okay, so we're down 5. We need to get rid of these threats, so... Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop our charge minion. We're going to use Orc. Let me double check. Ooh. The only problem with using him right now is whatever we attack is he's gonna die. So +3, +1. Whatever we give our charge mini, he's gonna die either way. So let's go ahead and kill this guy off. Same with that. Okay. So next turn, assuming we can get him below our current health, we can use Golden Saint. Okay, so we might be able to. Let's see what he does. No, we're not going to be able to. Okay. Other minions. Maybe we can set it up for next turn, we will. Now, I should have waited and gone face first, but let's just see what happens. Okay, so we're good. Okay, good. Now we're gonna get Golden Satan on the field. So we'll drop him over here, get another one over here because we have more health. And here we go. So now, essentially, I think we have board control right now. I don't like this card over here. I mean, its effect has already been used, but I have a feeling he's going to try to buff that up a little bit. So let's go face and see what happens. One more. Awesome. Okay, so now we know he has to spend something to remove our 2 4/4 guards in order to save face. So he's going to silence one. Okay. Very smart. Very smart. Okay, so 9 health left. Let's see what we got. 2, 4, 8. We need... And here we go. So, oh no, we have guard. Here's what we'll do. We'll kill this guy first. Not going to be legal on this turn. But maybe next turn. Go face and see what happens. Alright, so we're in a decent position unless he can do 17 damage or clear the board right now. I mean, he could put out a couple guard creatures, but I don't suspect he's gonna do that. Nope, we got this. Yep. GG.
Your soul is mine.
Okay, there you have it. That took a couple minutes for this deck. It's not, I don't really know how to describe it. I wouldn't say it's not an aggro deck. I would say it's maybe a mid-range deck because it has some elements of being able to ping really fast, hit him in the face, do some damage, and also kind of control the battlefield at the same time. Not by removal, but by maintaining a good lane presence. And there we go, 15 shards. Okay, so let's play one more to give it another test.
Soul harvester.
Okay, so here's that combo I was telling you about. So we drop our Nord. Okay, so he's already a 1/1. And because he's 0 cost, we can put the +2/+2 on him. And then obviously we can beef him up again. So right off the bat, we're going to do, 3 damage. Which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much, but it may come down to like 2 health later on when we're both fighting it out at the end. Which is one of the things I love about this game. Let's go ahead and protect him, because he might become a little bit more valuable later on. Let's see what he does here. And he's not playing anything. He must have really high cost cards. And we're going to beef up our guard. Break a rune. In a second here. See what he gets. Nothing. Okay. Alright, so let's see if he actually plays something this time. Creature becomes shackled, deal 3 damage to it. Okay, interesting. Put Slaughterfish over here. I'm almost thinking we should try to get rid of that, but we'll just go face for now and see what happens next turn. Okay, yep, let's see. Deal 4 damage. Where are you going with that? Yeah, smart. See, you see what I'm saying? Like, the computer will think that's a big threat, which technically it is, because you can beef that guy up and constantly do fast damage. Okay. Okay, so see our Slaughterfish is getting beefed up here. Let's do Bruma over here and this guy over here too. Let's go face again. Just for the heck of it. Because we're going to put Golden Saint out next. Because there's no way he's going to get us below 9 health on this turn alone. Okay, Prophecy Drain. Alright, Golden Saint time. Use Golden Saint, then I'm going to go ahead and kill one of these guys. Just to slow him down just a bit. Since we have pretty good health advantage right now. Okay, shackling, deal 3 damage. Okay, so he suicide. Okay, go ahead and get Prophecy out here. And now we're playing the top deck game. Fun stuff. Nice. It's a good card. Alright, now we're just going to be putting stuff out there, slowing down until we can build up some damage. Alright, here we go. Let's get rid of one of the threats. Last gas, deal some damage, summon Dark Brother. Guardian. Okay. Just now broke our first rune. Took him long enough. Second rune. What do we got? Yeah, here we go. One of the things I love about the Prophecy, but he's going to kill it off. That's okay. Slowed him down just a little bit. Ah, damn. We don't have more health, but we need to put it out there. Just to kind of, like I said, slow him down again. Yeah, definitely don't want to unsummon that. Just unsummon the bat. So again, waste some magic by playing it again. Destroy one of the creature. And now the deck is going to betray us. We need to save that. I think we're dead either way, depending on what we get. Yeah. Okay, so he's gonna kill that with lethal either way. You can kind of bait him, I think. And then still scimitar. Okay, let's see if he actually goes for the kill, or if he just sorry, dog. Yep, he went for the kill. Not bad. Could have played that a little bit better, but sometimes it just comes down to the initial draw, and because we got in a situation where we had him almost on the ropes, but we started top decking. All right, let's play another quick match and see how it goes.
The soul
Okay,
harvester
piercing javelin. Let's get rid of that.
here.
We are going to keep the Kvatch soldier and the Sunhold medic because we can drop this on turn 2, then maybe turn 3 this to beef it up more. But let's see what our next card is. Slaughterfish. Meh. Like I said, probably going to get rid of those slaughterfishes. They're alright. Alright, let's see. Bruma. Kvatch soldier. Just to kind of bait him into killing it. So we can save face for a little bit. Yep. What does he play? Start your turn, deal damage to you. Okay. I think it'd be funny if you could reduce that to like a 0. So he would have no way of killing it. And only continuously hurt himself. Either way. Alright. Go down. I do want to give it beefed up, but I'm gonna have to bait him into that because we need to get rid of that. So I really don't want him doing 5 damage each turn to me. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the good old fiery imp. It's a good card. Alright, let's see. See what we can get out of this. Come on. Yeah. Beef him up just a little bit more. Alright. It's a good card. Let's see what he decides to do. Yep, don't kill it off. That's quite alright. Sorry, there's someone mowing the lawn outside right now. Damn fiery imp. So we're still a little competitive, so that's good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and kill. Let's see. Well, let's see what we can get here first. Let's go ahead and put this over here. So he kind of has to play something over here to knock out the 6 damage. Let's get rid of the imp. And yeah. Yep, see? We're making him play in the shadow lane. Damage. Okay. Unsummon a creature. We're actually going to keep that. Okay, let's see here. Let's get some more board presence real quick. Don't have any items. I kind of want to get Slaughterfish going, but I think he's going to kill it off early. Should have hit face first, but let's see what happens. Okay, we're good. Okay, yeah, he's going to go for the kill on that. Too bad breakthrough doesn't work the opposite way. Alright, what does this do? Here's some big damage, game +2. You know, I really don't want that on the field, so let's get that out of here. And you can see that this deck does kind of have a bit of control feel by placing some removal. It ain't gonna happen all the time, of course. Okay, breakthrough and charger. So I can't attack any of these guys right now. Okay, so he's gonna have to either get rid of the threats or try to catch up by going face. Let's see what happens. 2 damage to each player, that's fine. You know, it'd be really great now if we could get a Golden Saint. Okay, so we are good. We have lethal. 3.
Your soul is mine.
Okay, not bad. So you can see this deck does have its ups and downs, but for a really cheap deck for beginners to build on a budget, by budget I mean you have to craft minimal cards for this deck. It's not one of those decks that say budget deck, but it costs 20,000 soul gems, soul shards. I mean, those kind of decks are great if you already have the card collection, or if you already have a good amount of soul shards saved up. Now, if you want to build one of those like high-end legendary decks, they are going to cost quite a bit. Because legendaries, I think, cost 1,200 right now? Yeah. So by using the Soul Harvester deck, we can effectively harvest the 15 shards every time you defeat the expert AI. I will note that there is a 300 limit per day. So think about it, in 4 days, you could have a legendary. So in a month, imagine what you could buy. Get the experience, learn how to craft your decks, build what you want to do. And so yeah, that was 3 matches just against the expert AI. And like I said, I have taken this against actual players, and I think I won 2 out of 3, which isn't bad for just a cheap Soul Harvester deck. All right, guys, that's all I have for this episode. See you soon.